Hi, my name is Tom Gaps, and this railroad is called the Lone Pine and Western. It derives its name from the fact that my wife noticed that we had a lone pine in the middle of the backyard, and it was at the western end of the yard. So that's how it got its name. We started construction on this shortly after I retired. This was intended to be my project to keep me out of the house and out of her hair. And we spent about 9 months getting this from flat ground to what you've seen in the videos here. And it's about a year since construction was completed, so the ground cover is just starting to fill in. I decided to specialize specifically in 1 in 20.3, so that's all of my equipment is based on that scale. Don't have a whole lot of equipment yet because I focused on getting the railroad built. So when I started on this, I joined a club about a year before I started on this to learn about garden railroading. And I observed what I liked and I observed what I didn't like. And one of the things I didn't like was constantly having to clean track. And so I made a conscious decision, I will not use track power. This will all be battery. Haven't decided about live steam, but my long tunnel, 35-foot long tunnel, kind of makes me nervous about wanting to run live steam here. So it's strictly battery powered. We've got 3 different types of batteries. I've got one engine that has gel cells. It's a lead acid form of battery. I've got one engine that has the nickel metal hydride. And my newest engine, the one you've seen running today, has lithium ion batteries, and that's kind of new to me. But I find that I get more punch for a much smaller battery, so it was a good choice. And I have a gentleman down in Sacramento convert them for me. He does an outstanding job. The track is all Sunset Valley. I decided after doing some research that seemed to be a very high quality track. The switches are high quality. One of the comments that club members have made when we've had operating sessions is that the only derailments we've had were due to operator error. No mechanical problems in the track caused a derailment. But the switches are non-forgiving. If you go through them trailing point with the wrong setting, you will go on the ground. It's a guarantee. And that's a standing joke in the club. Don't talk to the operators when you're running at Tom's house because they got to focus on getting those switches in the right position because otherwise they're going to be spending a lot of time on the ground. On the tunnels was every spot in every tunnel has to be accessible from no farther than 3 feet away. So all of the tunnels are either less than 6 feet long, so I can reach in each end and get to the center, or they have an access portal somewhere along the way. And in this case, this 35-foot tunnel has access portals every 3 feet. When I designed this, I had 2 goals in mind. One, I wanted a display railroad that could just run and run and run, to do that I built a dog bone design. But I also wanted to do operations, which tends to be point-to-point operations. So at one end of the railroad, we have a yards that splits off from the return loop, and at the other end, we have a short stub siding that leads into the shed, and there's a small assembly yard in there. So we can run point to point between the shed at one end and the yard at the other end, or we can run around on the return loops at each end and just let it run continuously. There's a shed in the back corner of the lot. That was our starting point. We built the shed first and knew we were going to build the railroad out from there. I wanted to be able to run the trains into the shed quickly and easily, so there's a portal in the side of the shed right at table height, about 36 inches above the floor level, and I can close that off so the animals can't come through. And that allows me to run the trains from the shed on a table straight out onto the mainline track. So the shed is where I store things, where I set things up, do my cleaning, that sort of thing. It's not heated, unfortunately, so I only spend a half an hour or so at a time in the winter because my hands get numb and I can't feel anything, so I have to go in the house and warm up. And I'm going to have to work on that one because I hadn't thought about that when I had it built, how cold it would be in there.